So welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to the April edition of EVCO's monthly meeting. Tonight on the agenda, we have Henry giving a talk about if EVs have reached price parity, because we've been promised this for many decades, well, many years, probably over a decade. So have we gotten there? You can sit down though. We're not ready for you yet, Henry. Simmer down. I know I appreciate the enthusiasm though. It's really good. We've got Ryan online, hopefully. Going to talk about Chinese EVs and buyer beware. This is not the kind of fear mongering you hear from the political right. This is a different kind of fear mongering, but it's not really mongering. It's more just like, don't be stupid. Then there's the news, and then past and future events, and then we have our normal roundtable. And just in case anybody's curious, because we were spearheading the e-bus campaign for the city of Ottawa, the city now has 109 e-buses on the road. Well, actually, no, delivered on the road. As of April 8th, they had 90 of them out on the road. So that's why you're seeing a lot more electric buses now. And by the end of next year, they're going to have, oh, it's not up there. Okay, well, it's going to be like 350 basically. So like half the fleet will basically be electric by the end of next year. And just so people are aware, each electric bus saves the city of Ottawa $70,000 per year per bus in diesel. So, you know, somebody's job there.
Hey, I have a question for anyone who's like West End or South End. I see a lot of electric buses here in the East End, I think, and my theory is that it's because Saint Laurent's the only electrified garage. So do people that are in like Canada or South End see them as much?
You're allowed to talk now online. Bueller?
Well, we'll give them a minute to unmute.
Oh,
I rarely see them in my part of Barhaven.
Okay.
And my daughter says she's never had one for her school route.
Because like every bus I see now is basically electric.
Yeah, like I see one every 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, I see them every day, multiple times. Like there was an intersection where like there was the New Flyer and the Nova, and they were like passing each other. So it's like all of the electric buses are downtown. Anyway, okay. Henry, now you can come up.
Hello, EVCO. Have EVs finally reached price parity? I need to stand over here. Okay, gotcha. And by price parity, we mean, does it cost as much to buy an EV? And by EV, well, I should specify, most of the time when I say EV, I mean hybrid and or battery electric vehicle. I learned recently that battery electric vehicle is pure electric and EV can mean hybrid or pure electric. Anyways, there was a nice headline from Auto Trader in the UK saying, yes, they have reached it. And that is true for new cars in the UK. So we're looking at like 42,000 pounds on average for a new electric vehicle as compared to 43,000 pounds for a petrol model. And so that's in Canadian, that's about, what? Oh, that's on my next slide. Never mind. A big part of that is they have grants for 3,750 pounds, which is like $7,000 Canadian. Drool, drool, drool. And another reason is the 2025 EU CO2 targets. Faced with binding targets, car makers shifted priorities. Sales strategies moved away from maximizing margins towards increasing BEV volumes, accelerating the launch of more affordable models. Even in the UK, we are seeing discounts on these BEVs. And then with broader political uncertainty, of course, including Iran, this has pushed up fuel costs, and energy security is on the front of buyers' minds. So that 42,000 pounds is about 79 Canadian versus 43.80 Canadian on those new vehicles. It's kind of jaw-droppingly expensive. The next slide we'll talk about used, which is slightly different. So that if anybody wants that Auto Trader report, the link is there. If you want this information, feel free to email me. I have this fantastic report as well, which is from Auto Trader Canada. I don't know if people can see the video, but there is an April 2026 Auto Trader electric vehicle survey that I found online, but it's not actually on the Auto Trader website. I found it by searching, and somebody had put it on a Google Drive. So I suspect you're supposed to actually pay for this. So if anybody wants it, I'll send it to you. Right. So UK's most popular new vehicles include MG, Renault, and Kia, the most cost-effective options. And on Auto Trader UK, the Renault 5 accounted for 6.4% of all inquiries on their entire website. Like, this is fairly impressive interest. So the Australia, UK, and Europe are getting closer to their iPhone moment, if you want to call it that. They're racing along the S-curve, and they'll soon see demand for ICE cars collapse, gas stations closing as the old tech enters its death spiral. France is handling this well. They have initiatives such as social leasing for as little as €100 a month. Canada, we're getting there close to there. You can see that it's only 2K difference between new BEVs and new vehicles. And you could see that we've gone 10%, down 10% over the last year on the average price of a battery electric vehicle, which is great to see. Looking at our price guide online, well, actually, first of all, yeah, so that difference between the two of them is 3%. So we bring some Chinese EVs into the market, maybe that'll close the gap. We'll see. In the meantime, the protectionist tariffs in North America are keeping affordable batteries and EVs out of the hands of the people, sadly. And so looking at our price guide online and prices online, it seems that the more expensive three-row SUVs, for example, are getting closest to parity. A Toyota Highlander, Kia Telluride, and Hyundai Palisade, they start from about 55 to 57K, whereas the Kia EV9 and the Hyundai Ioniq 9 start around 60, 63K. So they're getting pretty close to each other. In comparison, compact SUV, our buyer's guide says that you can get a Toyota CHR for $38,000, which is the same platform as the Subaru Uncharted I just learned recently, whereas the Honda HR-V, which is an ICE vehicle, starts at about 33K. So moving on to used vehicles. Interestingly, the UK used vehicles are cheaper than they are in Canada. They have not reached price parity on the used, whereas they have on the new. We're theorizing that's probably old stock of the more expensive vehicles that are still kind of percolating down, and that will soon flip as more of what's new now becomes used. So I was also looking at the clutch.
Just, go back one point on that I think you missed on that. I haven't done a look lately, but I know I've done this a few times in the past. And one of the things that you have to be very careful with when you look at the differences is like for like. Like you can get a RAV4 at $40,000, but it has like no safety features, no whatever. Like it's a very stripped down car. If you look at sort of like a nicely equipped RAV4 compared to the nicely equipped electric version, there actually are very close or sometimes even cheaper. That you don't get, they don't have the sort of the stripped down basic version of the electric vehicles that sort of are good for headlines, but most people don't actually buy. When you actually look at what people actually buy, it's a little harder to sort of, because most people get like the safety features and the different things like that, or some sort of other like one level up of comfort or anything like that. And those often are very much comparable to the basic electric car. So in comparing those, I find that actually we are at parity, at least last time I've looked at a couple of times.
Totally agree, Craig. And as we all know, you get features that are kind of unadvertised with an EV, like excellent acceleration, quietness, no smell of gasoline. And if you could put that on a gas car, you would be paying a fortune for those types of features. So yeah,
Yes.
And then of course the cost of ownership, like it's just the sticker price that most people look at, and that's kind of.
Yeah, I understand, and I'm just saying that you have to look at not just the base sticker price, but the sticker price of what you actually get. Also warranties. I mean, often the last gas car we bought, I think we spent like $7,000 for the extended warranty, whereas most electric vehicles come with a much better warranty, shall we say.
And the projected lifespan of EVs is much longer as well, which I think the vast majority of the public don't realize at this point either.
Exactly.
Interestingly, I was looking at the Clutch website as well. They were talking about EV price drops while simultaneously seeing a demand surge. This is, I'm of course talking about used EVs. Currently, they say that 5.4% of the used market in Canada is EVs. They found that the average used price was $38K in March 2026. Well, interestingly, the median was under $35K. So that tells me that there's a lot of expensive EVs out there if you like your stats and want to know about the difference between average and median. Clutch says that demand is going up because of the price drop. Iran is probably a factor in here. The BZ4X fell 18% in price and sales tripled. The Kia Niro fell 19% and sales doubled. The average EV turnaround is 92 days, 77 days for gasoline, 79 days for hybrid, mostly because there are fewer units on the market. So I would conclude this is a great time to sell your hybrid and buy a used EV. Moving on, in October, I did an analysis of the used market in this area. I wanted to look at affordable EVs. So I'm doing a quick update of that now. In October, my search parameters were less than $30,000, 250-kilometer radius around Ottawa. So that includes Montreal, of course, fuel type electric. So here we go. These are the numbers from like yesterday. In October, there were 78 Model 3s on the market. There are now 172. I'll just stick with Auto Trader. Car Gurus is there's kind of a comparison. There were 0 Model X's in October. I found 3 of them for under $30,000 this time around. And Model Ys went from 1 to 24 of them. So this was kind of interesting. This was atypical to have more available now. The Teslas were in this camp. In comparison, this is the Model 3. So this is interesting looking at the price trend over the last year. It's generally downwards year over year, negative 22% in the worst case scenario on the 2018 model. But in the last 30 days, shot up 2%. We all know why. And so that's an interesting looking trend curve there for the Tesla Model 3. Whereas the Chevys, thanks for adding the photos, Mike. They were pretty comparable to, the numbers were comparable to what they were back in October, like 50, 60-ish both EV and EUVs. Whereas the Korean cars, they were selling like hotcakes. So we had like 107 Kona EVs back in October. We had 69, oh, sorry, wrong number. The Ioniqs went from 52 down to 10. The Niros went from 36 down to 28. And so, yeah, everybody loves the Korean EVs. The Nissan Leaf, well, okay, yeah, let's look at that trend curve first of all. On the Kona, on the whole, down between 17 and 12% year over year, whereas in the last 30 days, less movement. So that's interesting to look at those curves as well for a comparison on the Hyundai Kona. The Nissan Leaf, 101 of them on the market, whereas back in October there were 69. So people are getting smart. They realize that the Leaf is not such a fantastic used vehicle. I mean, if you're just driving around town, sure, but it's not a great road trip car. There were no areas back in October for under $30,000. There were 5 of them now. The Mach-E is selling well. There were 52 of them on the market back in October, only 34 now. I even found an E-Transit for under $30,000, which kind of surprised me. If anybody wants to turn it into a camper van, pick it up now. It's going to go fast. And then the Volkswagens, very similar numbers to what I saw. The MX-30 was kind of interesting. I only saw one of them. Last time there were 30 of them on the market, but they were like $20,000, like super cheap. I think people just saw them and was like, well, this is so cheap. I got to pick up one of these. They only have like 20,000 K on them. And yeah, I think they might not be super happy with them. They're not great vehicles in general, but if you're just driving around driving your car around town and need a family vehicle, it's probably fine, especially for only $20,000 and you're not going to be paying for gas. So Toyota BZ4X, 21 of them for under $30,000. That's quite a high number. There were 12 of them back in October. And so, yeah, in total, I found 684 options you could choose for on Auto Trader in the Ottawa area, Ottawa, Montreal area, I should say, which is quite compelling, I would say. Go out and get yourself a used EV would be my conclusion there. Save big dollars. And I think I'm pretty sure that's my last slide. Should I move on? Yes, here we are. Ryan's turn.
Thank you very much, Henry. And yes, I just bought a car today, a used one, Kona. All right, Ryan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's all yours, man.
Yeah, so just I put in the chat here, but I'll mention it as well that our friends at Polestar, they're very interested in coming to our events and stuff. So I was talking to them, and they're getting a lot of 1-year-old Polestar 2s in that are coming off a promo lease that they offered last year. And some of them, he said, one of them only has 10,000 kilometers on it, and they're priced in the low 40s with all-wheel drive and all these fancy features and stuff. So that's pretty interesting to see a flood of those come in. Okay, so I put this up on the website. I'm assuming everybody watches our website and has seen this already, but if not, that's okay.
Seat of my pants. Yep.
Yeah, so I just put up a kind of a clickbaity article saying, Chinese EVs buyer beware. The main thing I wanted to just point out to people very quickly here is nothing is set in stone yet. So I've been keeping an eye on everything, and I've been coming across a lot of border on scams about this. So it was about a week after the government had announced they're going to allow Chinese EVs into our market at the preferred tariff rate that this screenshot on the right-hand side popped up on Instagram and a couple other places. And it says, here is our current lineup available for North American markets. Well, I don't know where this would come from. This was not anywhere official. It was a couple random sites. And of course, people are sharing this without realizing that this doesn't pass the sniff test. So I put a big red unverified over it because we have no idea its source. So just a lot of misinformation. I've seen a lot of really eager people, especially in the subreddit EVs in Canada, saying like, I was talking to someone that said they could take a deposit and they could ship me one. And it's like, whoa, just hold your horses. So it's important to be careful what you read about this. If you just flip to my next slide there. So the reason I say be extremely careful is that there is a lot of, even in the past week since I wrote this article, there's a lot more information coming out that seems to be attributed to people at Chery. We know Chery has been trying to find people in the industry to work for them. Just even, I think at the end of last week, it's come out that BYD is saying they want to have 20 dealers set up by the end of the year. They want to do this quickly, and it's in, haven't seen BYD explicitly state this themselves, but it seemed to be in legitimate outlets. So that being said, there's nothing signed and confirmed yet. So what don't we know? We don't know which manufacturer is going to come. We can speculate, but nothing has been announced yet. When will they be available? Again, we don't know if it's going to be dealerships or direct sales. It sounds like some of them are seemingly like a direct sales, but others are, it almost sounds like maybe they're trying to approach existing dealerships to partner with. And then, of course, all of that comes down to pricing. We just don't know yet. So there's a lot of smoke for there not to be fire. But again, what I just put here is just be cautious about what you read. Rely on announcements from manufacturers or the government just to be sure that it's legitimate. So that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. And yeah, I didn't put it in the news, but a handful of Chinese EVs showed up in Toronto this week. It looks like they're European spec. So they're probably here for some sort of testing, homologation testing to see what they need to change to meet Canadian requirements. But they're from Chery. The two brands are JQ and Omoda, which I'm sure nobody has ever heard of here, but they sell in Europe and Mexico. The other thing is that Leap Motor has a partnership with Stellantis and is looking at buying the Brampton Chrysler assembly line because that's been shuttered. And so they want to start assembly here in Canada. So they're actually negotiating right now to do that.
Except that Ford has said that he doesn't want them to buy it, right?
Yeah, well, Doug Ford, I mean, you're either a capitalist or you're not. So, like, pick a lane, dude. Like, let the free market do free things, or, we're a communist country and it's command economy and you can't do things because I'm the government. Like, that's stupid. So, whatever. Ford can go hike up a tree.
Melanie Jolie has already poo-pooed that.
Yeah, so what Melanie Jolie said is that they don't want it to just be they don't want to get knockdown kits that they just assemble. They want a supply chain, which is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the government's sort of position is. So I don't know what Ford's saying, but anyway.
Gotta start somewhere though.
Yeah. Well, you can start more than a knockdown kit. We have a supply chain already in Southern Ontario. So you don't have to import the seats from China because we can do that here. So anyway. Cool. Thanks, Ryan. All right. Speaking of assembly lines and production, Rivian has started production of the R2. So if you have an R2 on order, you're going to have to wait a little longer, but it's not as long as it used to be. They are on track for this spring for first deliveries. And this is just days after a tornado tore off part of their factory roof in Normal. But apparently they're still good to go somehow. So kudos to Rivian for being resilient. Apparently, customers will receive an email if you've pre-ordered to configure your R2 in June. So that's really soon. That's within the next 6 weeks. Only the launch edition R2 Performance is available right now, but the premium will be coming later this year. And then there's standard, cheaper, more affordable one will be next year. So pretty typical rollout, but there you go. Some optimism. Volvo's XC60 has exceeded Volvo's expectations. They had planned on making 40,000 units. They're looking to try and increase that because they've sold out of all of them already before they've even started deliveries. So that was cool. They're actually negotiating with the union in Sweden to see if they can actually run an extra week in the summer to see if they can produce more cars. So that's a good sign, right? The XC60 is a big, expensive SUV. So good for Volvo. They make good stuff, I think. Yeah. Volvo's flagship, we're sticking with Volvo for a sec. They have a EV truck that can do 700 kilometers now. It can actually do maybe a little more if you're nice to it. But anyway, this is an upgraded version. The previous version could do 600 kilometers. So they've added 100 kilometers and they've only changed the motor and the battery pack. It's just a little bit, it's these marginal improvements, right? They add a little bit of energy density to the battery. They make the motors a little bit more efficient, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got, 700 kilometers of range on a 725 kilowatt hour battery pack. So that's, for those keeping track at home, that is like 3 Hummer EVs or like 6 Model S's ish. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I didn't look, but I think it does. Yeah. I think the trucks have megawatt because it would be stupid otherwise. But you'd have to Google that. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Hyundai Ioniq 3, the little brother to my car. It's unveiled. This is a hatchback. Unfortunately, it's only for Europe because apparently North America doesn't buy hatchbacks for some reason, even though I just bought one today. It's an EGMP car. It's 400 volts. It has 2 battery options in Europe, as they are prone to do. So 42 kilowatt hours and 61. And it does, 500 kilometers on the big pack, basically. It looks similar to a shrunken GV60. So if you're looking and thinking, that looks like a GV60, you're right, only it's smaller. Much smaller, apparently. There's no official word if it's going to come to Canada, but for now, it's only Europe. So more forbidden fruit. And for those of us, and there are many in EVCO that have Ioniq 5s, you're going to be happy to hear that the ICCU has now been warranted as of last week to 15 years or 180,000 kilometers. So that's essentially the life of the vehicle at this point. The ICCU is a kind of a thing that scares people off. It's in charge of all of the charging things, like anything to do with electricity, it sort of handles a little bit of. So it's like the 12 volt, the DC fast charging, the AC charging, the DC to DC conversion for the 12 volt system, the vehicle to load system, like it does all of it. It's a pretty cool piece of tech. Unfortunately, it's not very reliable until now. Apparently they came out with a new version last year, like a new part number that's supposed to be better. And so far it seems to be, so hopefully the ones we all have are the new design. I don't know when mine popped, but it was a while ago. So it might pop again, but it's under warranty, so yay. And EV6, you will be getting yours soon. Apparently a similar program is coming, so I will let you know next month if it happens. And sticking with Hyundai, high gas prices are already helping them sell more EVs. Shocking. So according to the US CEO, this is all American news right now. There's not a lot of Canadian news, unfortunately. But anyway, he's saying that their sales increases are attributable to the high gas prices, which makes sense. They've seen a significant change. Ioniq 5 is their best seller because it's an awesome car. But they are also selling more Ioniq 9s. And it is the Ioniq 5 is their best-selling car, but it's only the second best-selling car in the US. It's not a Tesla, and it's behind the Toyota BZ, if you can believe it. So, like, go Toyota. Like, well done. It must be it's the Toyota, like, loyalists. But hey, whatever works, right? The new BZ is a great car, so good for them. Ioniq 9 sales jumped 40%, and that's like a huge, expensive 3-row SUV. So there you go. That's good. And there's no U.S. tax credit either. So like this is all despite not having $7,500 tax credit in the U.S. Sales are going up. So there's hope, right? Got hope. As I said, what EV slowdown, right? Used EVs in the U.S. hit a new record in March. They bought 43,000 of them in the month, which is a new record high, which beat the previous record high of 40,000 last August, just before the tax credit expired. So people ran out and bought EVs right before the tax credit expired, and now we've beat those numbers. So that's good news. Probably because of the gas prices, because some people don't understand how geography works and economies. Canadian interest is rebounding as well. So north of the border, we have some good news. Auto Trader is saying that sales are looking, it's not sales, this is measuring like sentiment. But non-EV owner sentiment is increasing, which is a good thing. So we're up to 49% of non-EV owners are considering EVs. This is up from 42% last year. BC, of course, had the highest increase. They went from 49 to 60%. Ontario is actually not doing too bad. We're 42 to 50, so that's good. More than half of the people in Ontario are looking at getting an EV. And so that's good. Manitoba and Saskatchewan were actually the biggest jump. 41 to 53%. So like, I don't know what's going on the prairies, but all 11 people that live out there are now, more than half of them are considering an EV. So that's good. There's 12. No, I'm joking. Like Manitoba and Saskatchewan are cool. Alberta did not see an increase. Quelle surprise. Any guesses why? Yeah. Anyway. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, he was one of the 40% that were like, I'm going to buy an EV next. Microphones.
Sorry. Yeah, I was looking at that report too, and I was kind of surprised that the Alberta number was higher than Quebec. And the only way I could
it's because I think
get my head around that is I think all the Quebecers that want EVs already have.
Yeah, a lot of Quebecers already have EVs. So yeah. So there's less of an untapped market. Yes. Of course there is. Yeah, regressive taxes are definitely the way to go. What flavor of government is in Nova Scotia? Do we know?
An unfriendly.
It's conservative. Wow. As a surprise to no one. Yeah. So anyway, new sale prices, as Henry mentioned, they've dropped year over year. EVs in Canada are now 10.6% cheaper than they were last year. So that's good. That's for new vehicles. So something's working. All right. Ford says it's doubling down on what EVs lack most, which is affordability. And he's using this. He's laser focused on EVs despite canceling all of his EVs. So he thinks affordability is what makes EVs popular for used market, which is probably true. Like cheaper is better. So this is not rocket surgery he's doing here. He says that the real challenge, he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth here because he's like, we need to emulate the Chinese, right? But then also we can't allow the Chinese into our market because they'll kill us. So like, yeah, so whatever. So they canceled the F-150 Lightning because it's a high-end EV and they want to go down market allegedly. And so that's what makes sense to him somehow, but whatever, it's like a good truck. Yeah. Doug Field is the head of the Ford's EV Skunkworks project. He just quit. So I don't know, Ford. You were doing so well. All right, Stellantis, as I mentioned just now, they're looking at buying they're looking at building Chinese EVs in the Brampton facility. A bunch of people got laid off, like thousands of people lost their jobs when Stellantis moved the Jeep Compass from Brampton to Illinois. And the government got really mad at them because they got a bunch of public money to do this. And then they just buggered off with our money and fired everybody. So I have no love for Stellantis right now because jerks. But hopefully the Chinese Leap Motor will be the company that would do it. And so hopefully we'll get some Chinese EVs built in Canada, which would be great. And people can get their jobs back because that's important. All right. Smart is back with a new EV, the Smart. I don't know if it's a #2 or the number 2. Like the reviewers are calling it the #2, which is probably good because everyone knows what a number 2 is. And you you don't want to associate a car with that. They should have stuck with the 4.2. I know, whatever. Anyway, unlike its predecessor, this will have a 300-kilometer range, which is actually like shocking because it's a tiny shopping cart car. I hope that they come out with one that looks like a little Tykes car because that would be hilarious. But it'll have V2L. It'll be made in China. It should be relatively affordable. And so Smart's coming back with a little go-kart thing. So, I mean, like my neighbors had one of these, but it turned them off EVs because it had such a short range that they were like, EVs suck. They don't work in the winter. It's like, okay, well, you bought like literally the worst one. So this is not the worst one anymore. 300 is decent. Anyway, okay. Speaking of companies going backwards, like Ford, GM is postponing all of their next-gen EV trucks because America. So they're delaying. They're not canceling. Like the rumors originally were like they're canceling all these trucks. Apparently, the spokesperson reached out to Inside EVs and they're like, we're not canceling anything. We're just not redoing. Like we're not making new ones, which sounds like canceling to me. But you know, whatever. So they're delaying the refreshes and they're throttling production. And this is also because like Ford canceled the F-150, Ram canceled the electric 1500. So yeah, dark days for truck lovers. Jeep is it's not going to have a Wagoneer S this year because they can't sell the ones from last year because it's expensive and it's not very good specs and it's a Jeep. So anyway, yeah, it's unclear when they'll resume production. They're not actually making any right now. The next gen was supposed to have the NACS port, so cool. That's going to be delayed till 2027 at the earliest. And it's literally like their only EV. The Recon hasn't started being delivered yet or maybe it has, but there's not many Recons out there. So this is kind of like their only game in town right now. But anyway, and they had glitchy software and they had a stop sale order and there was like a whole bunch of problems with it. So good luck with that, Stellantis. VW is killing the ID4. This is a very dark news cycle. I'm very sorry. And they're going to make the Atlas instead because that's great for the planet is the giant bunkers driving around. Because they need money. apparently. And so, yeah, ID4 is no longer going to be made in Tennessee. The Atlas will be made there instead. They saw profits fall 53% because of Trump, and the sales have dropped 13% for them. So they need money to come. Now, okay, so this is not going to be great news. Sure.
Fives, and there's one at least in
Yeah.
Barheave and VW. So what's going to happen? Like, if you need some repair and stuff,
They should like like a lot of the ones that we had in Canada came from Germany originally, and then they moved to Tennessee, and now they're probably going to switch back to German production. So the parts should still come, right? They'll be coming from Germany. They're like, they still sell it well. The ID4 sells very well everywhere but the United States. So like, I don't think the model's going anywhere. They're just trying to, like, Volkswagen America is its own little fiefdom. And so they're just trying to figure out how to stay alive, I think. But Volkswagen AG, which is the parent company, right? Like, they're selling ID4s fine everywhere else, and probably here too. I don't know.
Yeah. I was just going to add they're rebadging the ID4 to the ID TIG1, which will be the fall release. Don't know if it's going to be made in the States, but it's certainly.
Well, it won't be made in the States,
Yeah.
for sure.
on there.
So it'll probably come from Germany, which is kind of what you want, if I understand things from Ryan correctly. You want the German ones. They'll build
Yes.
well. There you go. See? All right. So not great news, but not really surprising if you're paying attention. SpaceX, apparently about 20% of all Tesla Cybertrucks sold in Q4 last year. So of the 7,000, they only sold 7,000, and 20% of those went to Elon Musk companies, mostly SpaceX. Intercompany sales are continuing this year, so this is still not a great sign. So yeah, SpaceX took almost 1,300 Cybertrucks for some reason, because rockets need trucks, I guess.
Maybe they'll dismantle them for the stainless steel for
Yeah,
the
they may
Starship.
reuse the stainless steel to make starships. Yeah, 60 of them went to the Boring Company. I would have expected those to be reversed, since one like digs things and the other one just flies into space, but whatever. 225 Cybertrucks went to other Musk companies in January and February of this year, so that's cool. And Tesla itself is absorbing a lot of unsold Cybertrucks into their servicing fleet in a Maxwell Smartian, like, I meant to do that. So, all right, now for good news. And okay, so we've kind of heard this rumor for a while, but now it's like it's rewarmed, I guess. But Tesla is apparently, according to sources, and this is from Reuters, so they do journalism, they're legit. They're apparently working on an all-new compact electric SUV that's about the size of a Bolt EUV, and it'll be a Tesla. And so this is good. It'll have a single motor, probably an LFP pack if I had to guess. It'll be built at Giga Shanghai. There should be an A on the gig, but whatever. And they will expand production to US and Europe, as they tend to do, as things get popular. So optimism? I mean, that would be cool. Like a little hatchback from Tesla. Like, yeah, man. Like, I think there's a market for that. Clearly. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be good. Like, oh, I hope they build that. I hope it looks like the Cybercab, but with a steering wheel, because like that's a cool looking car, right? Like, just do that. It's already designed. Okay, that's it for the news. Past events. We did our kilowatts and coffees. We cycled through basically the same 3 places all the time, but we will be changing that come now because it's nice outside. So we did the Gatineau, Ottawa, Outaouais car show. We had people doing test drives. EVCO was leading things. Apparently you could test drive a Bright Drop, which was cool. English and French speakers were welcome. I wasn't there, but I understand it was a fun day and people had a good time. So pretty busy-ish. Saturday was busy. Okay. Yeah, so it's always a good time. All right, we just did, this is, thank you to Carl for the pictures. Carl took this picture. This was yesterday at the Sustainable North Grenville Kemptville show. It was ridiculously busy. I think Alan spoke to 1,000 people by himself. Everybody loved the Bolt. Yeah, and the BZ, the Toyota BZ. So thank you for all the volunteers for coming out to that yesterday. It was great. And I brought 2 chairs and I never sat in one of them. So it was super duper busy. Exactly, right? Like people are like, oh, EVs are too new. And I'm like, dude, they've been around since like 2011. What are you talking about? But anyway, yeah. So there you go. So that was fun. And there's Mark doing his thing right there, right? Blue sweater, talking up people. He's really good at like getting people roped into talking to you. He has no qualms about talking to strangers. He must have been a fun child for his parents. Like, Mark, stop. All right. Our monthly meeting will be here, May 25th, right the day after the May 2-4. So gardening. We have free parking. There are no refreshments because we are not that wealthy. But well, you can join on Teams, as you know, because you're here. Cool. Kilowatts and coffee. Okay, so we're going to be starting to expand our horizons and enjoy different coffee places. So we're getting a little big, and I'm concerned that some of the coffee shops are getting annoyed at us. So I'm going to start spreading the love a little bit. So we're going to try Cafe Lattecino out on 10th line. I don't live in Orleans, so I don't know if they have their tent up. I hope they do. I'm counting on it for next weekend. So if they don't, it's going to be interesting. We'll just hope it doesn't rain and hang out outside, I guess. I don't know. But it's usually a fun time. They have a big tent normally, and they have picnic tables. We just all hang out. It's great. 10 Toes on Searville is also a nice spot. Again, we'll probably end up outside because they have a nice patio and stuff. Second Cup of Maryvale is normal. No event on the 23rd because we have something else going on, which I'll talk about next. And then we're back to Luna because they're fun and they have a great patio, and hopefully it's open now because we opened it last time for them. And they have a lot of parking. It's great. So anyway, Westport Eco Fest is coming up on the 23rd. So I think we have enough volunteers for that. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. We go there. There's no test drive as far as I know. Last year we just talked to a bunch of people. You meet some interesting characters. I had some guys saying like EVs don't work in the country, and I'm like, interesting. He was like convinced that you can't tow with any EVs, and I'm like, you should check the Silverado. But yeah, so it's good public outreach because you're talking to the people who don't get exposed to us city slickers in our cars, and yeah. Blackburn Fun Fair, I think, should be hidden. Maybe. Ryan, are we doing that? I don't think so anymore, eh? Because of ABBA.
I don't
we're not sure.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of
yeah
interaction last year, and it's 4 days long, so it's a lot of volunteer effort.
Yeah, it's a lot of volunteer hours, not a lot there's yeah.
So I think at the moment, no, but
so that this is to be confirmed. Also, there's ABBA there, so no, Adam. All right. I'm giving a talk. It's not in the things, but I'm giving a talk on Wednesday, so that's fun. This is what is this? It's not in the slides. Oh, it's with the engineers. It's PEO, Professional Engineers of Ottawa. It's in. It's at the place near Maryvale. What's it called? It doesn't matter. I'm giving it. I know where it is on the GPS. It's fine. Yeah. Anyway, it'll be fun. 20-minute talk. Good times. This is a community conversation about electrification and renewable energy. So this is with cafes and OREC. I'm not sure who's participating in this. I think it might be Raymond spearheading this one. But yeah, looks interesting. Should be fun. And yeah. And then coming up this year, we have a bunch of things. Oh, there you go. Engineers, Mike, that's me. And then, yeah, we've got Archery Cup coming up in June. So that'll be fun. And James is really excited about that. That's going to be cool. We're going to run some stuff, I think, power some things with some cars. We got the Westport Car Show as a tentative in there. Avalon Family Barbecue in August. Queenswood Heights Family Fun Day in August. Pride in August. Everything's in August. Taste of Wellington in September, and then we're back to school, and I'm not ready for that yet. So let's not talk about that.
Don't forget about the cafe event in June 13th.
June 13th.
Yeah.
Did I not talk about that?
No, you skipped over it.
Oh, I skipped right. I'm sorry. Cafes event June 13th. EV showcase. Yes. Thank you, Lynn. I'm bad at reading. I'm not even good with numbers. Okay. Membership. So we have 3 levels of membership. And this reminds me that I forgot to pay my membership. Sorry, Ryan. I'll do that tonight. I'm the vice president. I don't know. Am I allowed to even? I should go. So there's plugged in, charging, and fast charging. You can read the slide, and there's more information on our website, evco.ca. This is our YouTube channel. I took this today, and we have, if you can't read it because it's really, really small and gray, 137 subscribers now. We're almost there, guys. We're going to be big time YouTubers any day now. I'm waiting for that silver YouTube plaque. I think you get 1 million subscribers, you get like a silver thing. So we're almost there. You know, just got to round up a bunch. It's fine. All right, and then we're going to do our roundtable. So, wow, this meeting is running really fast. It's amazing what happens when you're like focused on things.
Well, we knew it was going to be a bit of a short meeting, but that's
Bit of a
all right.
short
But
meeting.
I'm concerned that you haven't
Raymond's not here
watched my
either.
video.
I haven't what?
You haven't watched my video.
Which video?
Go back.
No.
See why EV owners.
Okay.
Why
First
should
of all,
EV
Adam,
owners with a CCS plug get an AX adapter? You haven't watched that one.
First of all, Adam, if I will direct your gaze to the top right corner. That is the EVCO logo, which means I was logged in as EVCO for this screenshot.
But
so
EVCO
my
has watched the other
personal
one.
account, which has YouTube Premium and I don't watch ads, has not watched your video. But I normally watch YouTube as my personal account, so yeah. But I think I've watched that actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've watched that.
And it's only 40 seconds, but you already know everything that's in it anyway. So
Yes.
get your adapters, everyone.
Get your charging
I
adapters.
used my adapter this weekend.
Okay,
so
so
get them.
Before we hit the roundtable, I'll take questions in a sec. I'm just going to say, if you've been watching us on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you're watching us live, stick around. We'll do the roundtable. I'll put you guys up on the screen so we can all talk. It'll be fun. And we'll see you next month.